My Cleveland Cavaliers were just embarrassed in the Eastern Conference Finals. And now that I've had some time to reflect, I want to look into the future. What's next? Do we trade for a big name like Giannis? Do we sign LeBron James for a farewell tour? Or do we run the same roster back? That would be a mistake. But today I want to give you guys my quick and three-step process on how the Cavaliers can go back to being contenders in one off season. Now, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I do want to take a step back and I want to look at this season in review. What are the positive things that we can take away, and what are the big negatives that we can take away, and what do we need to improve on? First things first, this was an incredibly fun offense. We were top 4 in the NBA this season. We were about middle of the pack everywhere else. It was yet another 50-win season under Donovan Mitchell in his 4-year tenure. 3 out of 4 years, 50-plus wins. We love to see that as a Cavaliers fan. However, the big things that we're going to take away. Number one is the James Harden trade. Was it the right move? Should we have made that move, and would it have really made a difference at the end of the season? I will say this. It was a good move at the time, but it was a one-year move. I made that glaringly obvious as far as my outlook on it in my immediately trade reaction there on the channel a couple months back. It's a one-year trade. And we failed. We didn't get to where we wanted to go. It is now time to move off of James Harden. Second thing, it was a very fun and it was a grind of a playoff run. We won 2 Game 7s, though they should have been shorter series. And we made the Eastern Conference Finals without LeBron James on the roster. That is something that I've never seen in my lifetime. 23 years of living. And for Donovan Mitchell and this core to do that, it was an incredible achievement. But with that being said, I don't know if we showed up for those Eastern Conference Finals. I don't know if we traveled to New York outside of those first 41 minutes of Game 1. This season's going to be remembered for the trade, the horrendous quotes that came from, and the horrendous play from the Eastern Conference Finals. I think it is glaringly obvious that with the lack of urgency, the lack of effort that this roster showed, the lack of doing the small things right, like protecting the basketball, they were glaringly obvious that big changes are needed, and they are going to happen this offseason, because if they don't, my goodness, Cavaliers front office, what are we doing? The first domino already fell, and that was that Kenny Atkinson's going to be back. I don't agree with that decision. I think he had one of the worst coaching performances in a single postseason that I have seen in recent memory, but hey, maybe it gets better with time. But in order to look at potential changes that this roster can make, that are glaringly needed, we need to look at the salary cap. I put together this salary cap tree for you guys at home, and going into next season, not including the names like Dean Wade or other unrestricted free agents that we cannot bring back, we are going to go into next season $14 million over the second apron. That's one of the most expensive rosters in the league, and we're not even a full 15-man unit. Now, with this being said, it's obvious that changes are needed, and I know as much as us fans want to scoff at the idea that these billionaire owners don't want to give out an extra $14 million out of their pockets, I can promise you that Kobe Altman and Dan Gilbert, the majority owner, they're going to want to get this number as low as humanly possible. And the easy culprits to trade are Jared Allen and Dennis Schroeder, because on your screen we have the 5th highest paid trio in the NBA today, and we don't even know if they can get the job done. We are concerned about their effort, their urgency, and if they can improve as players. But if we are able to trade a Jared Allen, trade a Dennis Schroeder, the 2 most likely candidates, that is going to free up about $43 million off our current cap tree. So that would give us about $30 million to either add another star, to make a big-time trade, to add a couple different role players, to really give this roster a different look, a different feel going in to next season. So with that out of the way, I want to give you guys 2 different outlooks. One, what is my prediction on what I think this front office will do? And then I want to give you my fan prediction on what I want to happen. These are both meant to be realistic, and I do want to address the elephant in the room. As far as Giannis Antetokounmpo, the rumors of him going from Milwaukee to Cleveland, I want to shut those down right now. For this reason alone, If you're in the Milwaukee front office, you have the greatest player in your franchise's history requesting a trade. He wants to go, right? And as much as it would do well for the Milwaukee front office to ship him to the best package possible, I can't see them trading Giannis to like Brooklyn, right? They're going to do right by Giannis. They are going to take their 2 or 3 favorite offers that they get around the league. They're going to put it in front of Giannis and say, okay, Giannis, where do you want to go? And I can promise you guys, if it's Miami, Chicago, Brooklyn, LA, whoever is on that offer sheet, and then you got Cleveland in the mix, he's not going to choose the Cleveland Cavaliers. So with that being said, we're going to take Giannis out of all of these predictions. So what do I think will happen, right? What do I think the Cavaliers will look like going into the 2026 season? Number one, I don't think we're going to get Giannis. I don't think we're going to get LeBron or another big star around the league. We talked about Giannis, but as far as LeBron is concerned, stay in LA, right? You want to be on a roster that can compete. We don't have a player the caliber of a Luka Doncic. You can stay out in LA, and if it is a farewell tour, I'm sure they're going to be able to attract enough free agents to surround JJ Redick in that roster where they could be a bit more competitive than they were this past season. So no star is coming to Cleveland in 2026. Number two is a Jared Allen trade. Whether if it's New Orleans, whether whoever wants to take Jared Allen, he's on a very manageable contract in 2026. And for a center that does all the small things, where he rebounds, he sets good screens, he catches lobs, he could be that rim protection threat for any defense across the association. Jared Allen will have multiple suitors. It just cannot be with Cleveland anymore. And by the way, as a small tangent, I want to throw this in there. There were reports and screenshots that Jared Allen had booked a trip to the Bahamas before Game 4 even took place. The problem with that, he booked that vacation to start on the 26th of May. So before Game 4 was even over, he was already ready for the next day to go on vacation. If there's any validity, if there's any truth to the fact that Jared Allen gave up on our season, down 3-0, though they were insurmountable odds to overcome, that is absolutely unacceptable. I can't even find the words right now. That is unacceptable, and he needs to be on the way out of Cleveland. So there's going to be multiple suitors for Jared Allen. If we were to trade him, let's say we get like a Herb Jones in return. And then the third thing, we're going to run the rest of the roster back. We might add a couple veteran pieces here to round out this roster, give us a different feel, a different flair, and overall, we're going to be pretty much the same core three, very expensive as can be, not making any big-time changes outside of trading a Jared Allen or maybe even a Dennis Schroeder, and that's going to be a first-round or second-round exit in 2026. Now let's explore what I want as a Cavalier diehard fan. These are three things that are realistic. The salary cap lines up, the trade logic makes sense, and these are all things that I can't see happening as long as Kobe Altman picks up the phone. First things first, we're keeping the young core. We're keeping Evan Mobley, and he's going to be a different player, and we'll talk about that in a moment. We want to keep Max Strus because he is the perfect glue guy. He embodies the city of Cleveland, and he's the perfect championship level player, right? He embodies what a winning team is supposed to play like. I also want to try to keep Sam Merrill, Jalen Tyson, Naquan Tomlin, Tyrese Proctor. All guys that don't have much trade value, but they can continue to grow, develop, and be great depth pieces for years to come. If we have to trade one of those guys in the future trades I will mention, so be it. But the first thing is first, Evan Mobley, I want to see him take that next step. For his sake, for our sake as an organization, for the fact that he was the 3rd overall pick years ago. All due respect to a Bam Adebayo kind of a player. Bam is an all-league defender, but he is kind of plateaued offensively. I kind of put Evan Mobley in that same mold of player, and I don't want that. I don't want that to happen. I at least want to see Evan Mobley go out there and try to take that next step to show what he has on the offensive end, more so than just being this 18-8 kind of a guy. I'm going to bring Evan Mobley back. I'm going to say we're going to force him to be more aggressive, is what I'm getting at. You are going to take 3 to 5 more shot attempts a game. You're either going to sink or swim. You can either develop a bag, develop more than just a spin and a hook shot to your game. You can add a mid-range bag or I guess skill set to your game, or you're going to sink and you're going to continue and forever be this just good defender but okay offensive threat. He wants more of a workload offensively. He has voiced concerns. Now you will get that. You have the opportunity to be the cornerstone of this franchise with an increased workload. So number one is we're going to force Mobley to be more aggressive, and we're going to keep as much of the young core as possible. Number two, Drew Holiday. We need to trade for Drew Holiday. And you're saying, Owen, how is this going to happen? Well, it's pretty simple. Remember at the top of the show when I said that James Harden was a one-year trade, at least in my estimation? That is where this is going to get done. In essence, the trade needs to be James Harden for Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday is slowly declining as an overall player in the NBA. He is still an all-league defender. Offensively, he gives you okay nights here and there, but he's a very smart player. He is still a point of attack defender where he can guard the best wings and guards around the association, and the Cavaliers need a type of player like that. So getting a player like Drew Holiday, who's probably 2 tiers below a James Harden, makes sense. Now, whether if it is Portland that will obtain the James Harden in this deal, or whether if we need to get a third team involved, James Harden is going to be on his way out, and Drew Holiday is coming into Cleveland potentially with an additional late first-round pick to bring in this championship-winning mentality, a leader, and a guy that gives us a lot less of a one-note attack. Now, the third one is the cherry on top. We have Jarrett Allen. We have, at this point, 2 first-round picks to deal, as well as if we can get a pick from Portland, that would be 3 first-round picks and Jarrett Allen. I say we ship all of those to New Orleans. We get Trey Murphy III, and that gives us a secondary shot creator, a young star that needs a different change of scenery to really take that next step and flourish as an NBA player. He is a 20-point per game kind of a player. He is a great defender, but he's also youthful. So the Cavaliers, it makes sense trading that big of a haul because not only do you get this young talent, but he gives you the versatility that is so needed in today's up and down, 3-ball heavy NBA world that we live in. Now for New Orleans, why they do that trade? Well, for New Orleans, you need a 5-man next to Zion, next to Derek Queen, next to these young guards that you have. So you can get a Jarrett Allen on a very reasonable contract, and you also get 3 first-round picks. So yes, it does suck to get rid of a Trey Murphy in New Orleans sense, but at least you get something out of a player that might just leave you in 2 years' time. So for the Cavaliers, you get Drew Holiday, you get Trey Murphy. That gives you a lineup of, and hear me out, Drew Holiday at the 1, Donovan Mitchell at the 2, Trey Murphy at the 3, Max Strus at the 4, or they can swap, and then Evan Mobley at the 5. We no longer have defensive holes. We have guys that bring that intensity, and we have guys that do the little things right, and we have a well-rounded starting 5. So that is what I want as a Cavaliers fan. If that makes sense, of course, let me know. If you have any questions, let me know. But all in all, man, we can round out the bench with another big man if Mobley doesn't always want to play the 5. But these 2 trades and this roster construction allows Donovan Mitchell and Mobley to be the stars. It allows the stars to be stars. There are no confusion. Mitchell, you can no longer hide in the corner in the fourth quarters when this team needs you. You need to be the kind of player that you project that you are, right? You need to be the 1A guy that I don't think you are. You need to go out there and average 28 a night. Mobley needs to be more aggressive and average 20 and 10 a night. That allows the stars to be stars. We have the role players that can step up if need be. We have the versatility, the defensive ability, no more glaring holes for other teams to attack. I just think that is the best situation for us to take as the Cavaliers if we want to compete for a title next season and for years down the line. But that is, for one, what I think will happen with the Cavaliers, and for 2, what I would do if I was Kobe Altman and I had a phone that could really change this roster overnight. So I'm a biased Cavaliers fan. That could be out of the realm of possibility. But of course, let me know your thoughts, what you would like to see the Cavaliers do this offseason.